Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Empire Earth. I'm the Serious JG. We're working our way through the Greek campaign. The next scenario is a Conqueror is born. A star appeared over Bethlehem and everyone knew a Conqueror was born. The civilization of ancient Greece is actually an assortment of peoples and cultures. Why do I keep reading that? It doesn't change between scenarios. So let's just jump right in here. Wait patiently for the narrator to decide to join us.
The war horse flinched and shied beneath her rider, as if aware of the danger presented by the enemy troops.
Wow, this guy really knows what happened in detail.
Alexander soothed her with a firm hand and a quiet voice. Beside him rode Philotas, his most trusted general.
Philotas.
They had crossed the Hellespont with their army,
Hellespont
along with
sounds
the
dirty
seasoned
too.
Greek generals Craterus and Meleager. The Emperor Darius III had mounted his defense on the far bank of the river Granicus, where his own generals waited, confident in their ability to smash the Greek upstarts.
They'd forgotten Thermopylae, apparently.
The battle would soon be joined. King against Emperor. General against general.
Hatfield against McCoy.
Nothing less than control of the Persian Empire.
But man, this narrator's knowledge of the details is impressive. He actually did an interview with Alexander's horse to find out about, had the firmness of his hands and his horse soothing abilities. Anyway, our objective is to destroy at least half the Persian army awaiting us across the Granicus River. Many other battles await Alexander's invasion. His troops can't be replaced, so fight each battle carefully. This would be what in StarCraft would be called a no-build mission. I guess it would be called a no-build mission in any RTS that allows you to build stuff, but keeps building scenarios in campaign where you can't. And this is usually it's the macro is my favorite part of these games. This is a game where the micro is a little bit weird and convoluted, and the macro is not that great. And I keep complaining. What I like about this game is I always liked Age of Empires, but kind of thought each scenario was really long and there wasn't that much story at the beginning and end of each one. And I love StarCraft. StarCraft 2 is probably my favorite RTS ever. As much fondness as I have of the original StarCraft, just the level of story content in each mission is great. And I like this because it's got a little bit of story feel. It's trying. It's really trying. Alexander, we're going to have for 3 different scenarios. I really kind of missed... what's his name? King Pelops, the one who founded horse pasturing Argos. I got attached to these characters so quickly, and I always wanted to spend more time with them. So maybe we'll get to know Alexander Philotas. Yeah, I mean, we know that the Greeks had some ideas about a spirit decor. Is it, all just watching, is it, generally accepted that Alexander is gay? I always thought that was, kind of an accepted fact of history. Obviously, in the Renaissance, Europeans who were educated, they acknowledged that there was different attitudes about that kind of thing in ancient Greece, but the name Philotas is just getting to me. Alexander, Philotas, and Craterus must all survive. Over 100 years had passed since the Persians invaded Greece, but Athenians, Thebans, and Spartans alike still hungered for a chance to strike back and repay that painful humiliation. Once Alexander III of Macedon had confirmed his mastery over all the Greek city-states, the stage was finally set for that dream to be realized. And we didn't have the Thermopylae campaign, which is kind of surprising. And I guess, and I probably mentioned this before, it would be tricky. It's like how Samurai Warriors 2, which is a hack-and-slash action game, we can roughly break that into the stories of there's different allied officers and people, but more or less it covers the rise of Nobunaga, the rise of Hideyoshi, and then the rise of Ieyasu. So the very beginning of the Samurai Warriors 2 story is really Okehazama, which is the big battle where Nobunaga, who was the first of those 3 great conquerors, really makes his first appearance on the national stage. But Okehazama was a battle where he was badly outnumbered and pulled off a victory that really shouldn't have happened. So it's not a great starting point for a game, because it's wait, so the first mission is going to be really hard, and then they get easier? It's like how It's like how there's this Panzer General lent itself to this really natural difficulty progression because you start out fighting in Poland, and then you end up fighting like the Belgians and the Benelux, and by the time and the French army is kind of in not a great state, and by the time you run into anything really challenging, you're fighting the British or the Russians, and time has passed. So what was I getting at? Oh yeah, the reason they don't have Allied General, on the other hand, is kind of a little weird like that. The Russian campaign gets easier as it goes. And they do some pretty clever stuff to make it stay difficult by having the requirements placed on you by Soviet Central Command become more and more ridiculous, which makes it difficult for you to win within the turn allotment. But the idea of you actually losing to the Germans becomes more and more difficult as the momentum swings your way because you're supposed to win. So the reason I think they don't have what's his face, this is Sparta guy, I am like just right on the edge of remembering his name. Antonidas is probably like off by a syllable or two. But the reason they don't have like the guy kicking Persians down pits and in the 300 movie, they don't have the battle at Thermopylae, is probably because the Spartans really shouldn't have won that, and it would be a weird thing to put in the earliest of the four campaigns that this game has. The Greek one is supposed to be the easiest, so having a battle where it's kind of famous historically because the side that was badly outnumbered won, it's like that would be a tough fight to win in the game. Anyway, the army with which Alexander crossed the Hellespont in 334 BC was not large. Unrest at home required that a sizable contingent remain behind under the command of his general Antipater. In lieu of a large force, Alexander chose an army composed of crack veterans and his elite fast-moving companion cavalry. Superior training, superior armament, and above all, speed would be his tactical edge. I forgot to set a timer. What the hell am I thinking about? Actually, this is going to be a bit of a pain in the ass because I am recording in slightly different circumstances from usual. So I'm just going to have to use that clock. Because my phone, I can put a timer on it, but it will keep... The screen will just black out as it charges. I guess I can put a... This would be annoying. I'll put an actual timer that will count down and make noise. I don't usually do that because it can be irritating to be in the middle of your video and suddenly have a little alarm going off, but that's what we'll do. When Darius learned that the Greek rabble from across the Aegean had indeed invaded, he moved to stop Alexander before the Macedonian king could advance very far into Persian territory. The river Granicus became the place where Persian might would first be tested by Alexander's genius, but they did not fare well. The Persians were routed at both Granicus and Issus. After the victories, the most important task facing Alexander was to subdue the fiercely independent island city of Tyre. Home of the seafaring Phoenicians, this well-defended citadel had remained unconquered for centuries. The capture of Tyre in 332 would secure Alexander's hold on the Middle East and guarantee freedom of Greek naval and maritime activity throughout the eastern Mediterranean. That is true. The Phoenicians were kind of an unconquered force for a lot of ancient history, I feel like. After defeating the Persians, aren't they're the descendants of the people who, like, spanked us and forced us to flee in, like, the second scenario of this whole thing. Like, an infinite army of them appears, and even if you defeat them, volcanoes start showing up on your land, and you're forced to go to horse-pasturing Argos? Yeah. After defeating the Persians at Granicus, your units can be healed at the allied town of Antioch, the home of the Protoss. Tyre will be difficult to take, but perseverance and combined land-sea tactics will prevail. Use your generals wisely. They can accompany different groups of soldiers, attack in different directions, and give you an important tactical enhancement. Alright, so this is quite losable because we can't replace our troops, so I am going to want to save periodically to avoid messing this up. Boy, they're excited. Look at them hopping around.
We learn from what we observe with our eyes. My old tutor Aristotle taught me that, Philotas.
Well,
look, I'm not going to float you right now.
I'd suggest that we've learned all we can by observing the Persians.
What the hell accent?
We ought to return to our men before we lose our chance to put this knowledge to use.
I am from Barcelona.
You worry too much, my friend. But come, let us rejoin our forces.
I love this, like, completely flat face. It's like they had a three-dimensional picture and then it smushed it up. Oh, wow, that guy's really showing off the shield graphics there.
Hey!
What news, comrades? How are we to fight the Persian army?
Man, their accents are from all over the world. There's someone who can help you.
leaders are the key.
Oh,
Kill them and the Persian army will fall apart. It is time to deploy our troops by the river. I have marked out the area with flags.
I am also a Greek warrior. I am here to help you. Ach ja, und ich bin ein Greeken warrior, ja. I don't even know if that was German or was that supposed to be Swedish. Well, we got points to spend. 14 points. We got... I probably had a plan and I don't remember what it was. Cavalry Spear Melee was probably... we got cost reduction on Cavalry Spear Melee. I think that's what it was. I was finally looking into cost reduction, which I can't afford yet. But in the very last... I made infantry cheaper. And archers cheaper. Okay, that might be sufficient. Siege Wappets. We will have siege weapons in these last battle or two. Let's see if the point's unspent for now. I know it doesn't seem like we've done very much, but let's go ahead and throw down a save. Just so that we don't have to go through the cinematics again if we make a mess of this very first battle.
Yes, what will you? Command me. Your command.
Let's get our heroes grouped.
Your orders?
Get our these dudes grouped. Companion cavalry grouped. Now, if we can't replace our troops, then there's seemingly no reason not to improve everybody.
Where should I go?
These guys cost iron, that's good. So they won't be competing for the gold, although we don't have that much gold, so... Alright, so that's all I can do with the bowman.
Your orders?
Templar. I can get better against shock or better against pierce. I don't really know what they're going to throw at us more.
Where should I go?
They're very weak against pierce, though, so let's start by upgrading that.
Where should I go?
Alright.
Command me. What will you?
So you can do battle cry.
Yes.
You are just a hero, and you are just a hero. Can you heal people, Alexander? Not even sure.
The earth is not enough. Olympus. The earth is not enough.
Kind of want to...
Kingdoms will fall.
see if I can
Is not enough. Kingdoms
lure out enemies here.
The earth is not enough. Kingdoms will fall.
But I think it might be we have to just...
Your command.
we might have to just gather a whole army before anything will happen.
The earth. Where should I go? For the throne. Your orders for honor and glory. Cavalry, forward.
God, pretty sure we'll be able to find some resources eventually. It's just that we don't have buildings to build new stuff. We will eventually get a harbor, if I remember correctly, which means we can build boats. And we will need those because we have to attack a port city. Alright, so I think nothing's going to happen until we array it. If I change my mind about how I've deployed my...
Kingdoms will fall. Where should I go? For the throne.
If I change my mind about where we've put our points, I'll just have to sort it out.
Command me. Ishtar speaks. Command me. Ishtar speaks.
Yes. What will you? Kingdoms will fall.
No one is to attack until all our troops have taken positions within the area defined by the flags.
Oh, I guess I have phalanxes who didn't get caught.
Honor and glory.
I have phalanxes who didn't get in position. Like, I
Your orders?
double-clicked and thought I got all of them, but I only got the ones that were in on screen at the time. Oh, you're just...
Olympus, the earth is not enough.
You're really confused by my movement orders because I'm trying to get you to move past the area where you just got done saying no. Okay, here we go.
Your orders?
Templar.
Where should I go? Orders?
All right, let's try this again.
Olympus, the earth is
What I'd really like to do is get Alexander to lure some guys out.
will fall. The earth is not enough.
Your
Where
command.
should I go?
Apparently they are not close enough.
We're arrayed for battle, sire.
Okay, now we are.
Whenever you wish, the attack can begin.
Kingdoms
The
will
Persian
fall.
army's morale is easily broken. Once we have killed half of them, they will break and run. I am sure of it.
What about wimps? Just seeing half of their army die is all it's going to take for them to rethink the fight? Losers.
Kingdoms will fall. The earth is not enough. Olympus will fall.
Ah.
What will you? Kingdoms
Well, if I just lure them out 3 at a time, if Alexander just personally lures them out 3 at a time, we are sure to win.
will fall. The earth is not enough. We are under attack. What will you? Kingdoms will fall.
Because Alexander's a hero has regen.
Kingdoms will fall. The earth is not enough. What will you? We are under attack. Olympus speaks.
So I don't think I did this before. It's ridiculous how well this is working. I guess it depends on how big their army is.
Kingdoms will fall.
Ooh,
What will you? The earth is
I think that's an actual hero.
attack. Olympus speak. Kingdoms will fall.
Yeah, killing the heroes is the main thing you want to be doing.
The earth is not enough.
Alexander's brilliant hit-and-run strategy where he personally rode out.
Olympus speak. The earth is not enough. We are under attack. What will you? Olympus speaks. What will you? Kingdoms will fall. Olympus speaks.
Uh-oh. Well, the archers have finally angered the enemy.
For the throne. To victory.
But not enough that anybody actually got killed.
Speaks. Command me. The earth will tremble.
Your command.
Their heads will roll. The enemy is ours.
Your
Their
command.
heads will roll. The enemy is ours.
Their heads will rule. The enemy is ours. We are under attack. Olympus kingdoms will fall.
Your command.
Yeah, you see, he's got a... This is more like it. Alexander's not at risk. Archers are just in range to kill this general. And I think Alexander will heal this guy. Or he won't. Alright, Alexander doesn't have magical healing powers after all.
Your orders for the foe. To victory.
So I'll be a little bit more willing to throw my warriors into danger once we get past this fight, because this fight they're going to retreat and then there's going to be plot and then we have to get to where they're hiding out and finish the fight. I'm just checking the timer, which is kind of a pain. We got plenty of time.
Kingdoms will fall. The earth is not enough. Olympus kingdoms will fall. The earth is not enough. We are under attack. What will kingdoms will fall?
Got royal guards down there. Oh, they ran.
What will the earth is not enough. We are under attack.
I'm really not losing a lot of guys, am I? Oh, that guy's turning around and retreating now.
The morale of the Persian army has been broken. They are retreating, and the field is ours.
Guy looks like Peter Davison to me somehow.
The
Alexander the Great.
Persians are regrouping at the town of Issus to our south. We must wipe them
The
out,
British
then
Peter
capture
Davison.
the island city of Tyre. This will secure our hold on all of Palestine. Assemble the troops. We march.
It's important that we take over Palestine so that we can pay tribute to Jesus, our Savior. It's impossible my knowledge of history is confused.
Kingdoms will fall. Your orders?
Oh, one of our companion cavalry took damage. We're gonna have to do that fight over again, guys.
Command me.
Oh, wait a second. Did somebody heal?
Your orders?
I thought I saw a little healy thingy. Alright, well anyway, now we must destroy half the army. We've done this. Persian army at Isis must be completely annihilated. Well, so we crossed over. There's the Persian army. We gotta wipe them out. Isis is here. Antioch still remains, but we've got more points to spend, so 19. So now these... We could do cavalry, spear, melee cost reduction. And what we have left, I'll spend on siege. So we can do, let's see, attack is 2. Range is 2. Rate of fire is probably pretty valuable here. Cost reduction of 3. Area damage of 5 points. Wow, they really don't. They really want to make that one difficult. Let's go with the rate of speed, and then whatever we get. It would either, I would either do range. Area of effect would be a nice one, but yeah, we had one companion cavalry take damage, and our heroes who heal. Actually, are they getting... Now I can't see that any of them are hurt. Maybe they also heal over time. Well, the other thing is Antioch was marked on the map, right? What's going on with Antioch? It's over here somewhere. Can we
The gods will tremble. What will you? The earth is not enough.
I feel like we should be able to find Antioch, and it should have a hospital. If nothing else, like it seems like it would have a friendly hospital where our troops could heal. And we don't need that now, but I'd like to know where it is for future.
Kingdoms will fall. Yes. The earth will tremble. What will you? Kingdoms will fall. The earth is not enough. Yes. The gods will tremble.
I mean, you saw the map I was talking about, right? Yeah, we're supposed to cross here. Antioch is kind of south of the crossing point. Isis, which is where the red is, presumably, is across the water from Antioch. Oh, that might be Antioch. I thought I saw yellow. Now I'm not sure what I saw.
Ishtar speaks. The earth will
Ishtar? You mean that, like, famously bad film?
Olympus speaks. Kingdoms will fall.
There is a neutral town nearby, Antioch. Perhaps we should commandeer the hospital there to heal our wounded.
Ishtar speaks.
Well, I guess he's thinking what I'm thinking, but,
The earth will be order and glory.
they just got a different way for us to get there.
Forward.
So Antioch is a city that we have to help Praetor Phoenix defend Antioch from the Zerg. And if we can do that, then we'll get the use of their hospitals. So that makes perfect sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, then I'm sorry. You're obviously unaware of our history as Protoss Americans. Protoss are like an ethnic group now in my mind. And don't call them Greys. That's their word, okay? They can use that word. It's not our word to use.
Olympus kingdoms will fall.
So we've got Antioch is
This
like
is the city of
Okay.
Antioch, renowned for her advanced shipyards.
Kingdoms will
There
fall.
may come a day when the Macedonians will have need of them.
Olympus.
indeed there will be a day, but it's not here yet.
The earth is not enough.
So we have to defeat the rest of the Persian army at Isis. And honestly, we've already defeated half of it, but we do still have to.
Command me. Your orders will honor and glory.
We're going to have to defeat the city of Tyre, which has walls and a navy more so than it has a really powerful and threatening army, but it does have an army. So we can't just throw everything away against the Persians with like a, poorly planned attack move command. I don't even know how to do properly in this game. Yeah, A doesn't seem to work. I should look that up. I think in the comments somebody told me, but for reasons I'm not going to explain, I can't review my comments. There's something going on with my, well, I will leave that alone for now. So we're going to throw down a save before we launch this next attack. Because, we managed to use cheeseball tactics to avoid any damage, but
What will kingdoms will fall? The earth is not enough. Kingdoms will fall. Olympus.
you're not allowed to attack the town? Okay.
Your command. The earth should I go? On the field.
I guess I gotta, like, lure them out.
What will you? The earth is not enough.
Attacking the town center doesn't seem to have done any good.
Kingdoms will
Well, I didn't attack the town center, but you know what I mean. I tried to.
The earth is not enough.
I'm right at the town center. Nobody seems to be coming here to defend it.
The earth is not enough. Orders of the crown. Victory. Command me. The earth is not enough. Kingdoms will fall. What will you? Your Where should I go? For the throne! To victory! Kingdoms will fall.
Your command.
The enemy is ours!
The enemy is hiding. The enemy is not defending Isis at all. The enemy is probably on the other side of these shallows. That seems like the kind of thing they would do. Alright, so let's position the archers here. Let's get the phalanx and the companion cavalry. Companion cavalry are supposed to be for pincer movements and encirclements, but I think I'm just generally going to use them to just block the way. Somebody's got healing powers. I guess that's oh, you know what? I bet you Philotus has healing power. He knows how to make these soldiers feel better. Alright, I'm an idiot, and we're going to call it a video. Those two things are not directly related. When we come back next time, after Philotus has used his healing arts on the troops, we will take the attack to the Persians and finish off the Persian army. I anticipate the Persians will be done by the end of the next video, and we'll be ready to move on to trying to take the city of Tyre, which may be pronounced differently. Thanks for watching. Boo boy.